I feel like I need some outside perspective on a really tough situation. My husband and I have been married for 19 years, and we have 3 kids together, a 13-year-old daughter, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. Our journey to parenthood wasn't easy, we faced a lot of fertility struggles, and my husband has been my rock through it all. That's why this situation has hit me so hard. Recently, I started thinking about divorce after I realized my husband had left our young children alone at home while he went out on what appears to be a date with another woman. It's been difficult for me to process everything, and I'm still unsure if I'm overreacting. His parents seem to think it was just a mild mistake, but I honestly find it hard to swallow. A couple of days ago, I decided to take a much-needed me day. I told my husband how I felt, and he agreed I could go out for a bit. I went out with my mom and sister for lunch, a mini shopping spree, and we even got our nails done. It was lovely to have some time to unwind. I left the house around 1 p.m., planning to be back around 6 p.m. My husband was supposed to be at home with the kids since we didn't have anyone to babysit on short notice. While I was out, I received notifications from our Ring camera. Around 5:50 p.m., I saw something was happening at the front door. I called my husband, who assured me everything was fine and that he was just picking up pizza. I thought nothing of it, knowing he was with the kids. Fast forward to around 6 p.m. when I got another notification that he was back home. Due to the long wait at the nail salon and bad traffic, I didn't arrive home until about 8 p.m. When I got inside, I immediately noticed something was off. My husband's car was gone. I walked into the house to find my toddler playing with spit, and my newborn was crying uncontrollably. My teenage daughter was in tears because she couldn't calm the baby down. I quickly took the baby, changed her, fed her, and got her to bed, checking in with my daughter to see what happened. She told me she didn't know where her dad was but that he had told her to watch the kids because he had something important to do. I comforted her and reassured her that it was a big task for her to handle alone. I felt awful she had been put in that situation. My husband finally came home around 10 p.m., looking somewhat drunk. When I asked where he had been, he casually claimed he was with his wife and having a good time. It felt like a slap in the face. He took off his pants and acted as if everything was normal, completely dismissing what had just happened. The next day, when I confronted him about his absence, he lied and said he fell asleep at 7:35 p.m. I was furious and called him out for being dishonest, insisting I knew he had been out with another woman. I reached out to my mother-in-law and my own mom for advice, trying to gain some perspective. My mother-in-law minimized it, saying it was a common mistake for men and that I needed to move on for the kids' sake. They need their father at home. I've been doing a lot of soul-searching since that day. Part of me wants to fight for our marriage, to believe we can work through this rough patch. However, another part of me is devastated and feels that I deserve better. I think about filing for divorce, seeking child support, and pursuing full custody of the kids so I can provide them with a stable environment. Am I overreacting? Should I be more forgiving because of our history? Or am I justified in wanting to leave this relationship for the happiness and safety of myself and my children? This happened on the 4th of April 2025. Comment 1. NTA. Not even close. He didn't make a mistake, he made a series of selfish, reckless choices. Leaving a newborn and toddler with a 13-year-old so he could go out drinking, likely with another woman, is neglect, not a normal guy thing. Then he lies, gaslights you, comes home drunk, and acts like nothing happened? Nah. You're not overreacting. You're waking up. Divorce isn't cruel, it's protecting your kids from a man who clearly checked out. Let the enablers whine. You're doing what's right. Comment 2. I would be seeing a lawyer. He was responsible for the kids and basically abandoned them to get drunk and be with another woman. He's cheating on you. Nothing about this is mild or a mistake. He made a choice to do this. Gain some self-respect and kick him to the curb. He's not a good guy. Comment 3. NTA dude is cheating and bailed when he was supposed to be looking after the kids, and then lied about it. Story 2. Somi, 21F, and my roommate Chloe, 22F, have been living together for almost a year. We split rent, utilities, and groceries 50-50. It's been mostly fine, until her boyfriend basically started living with us. Like he's not officially moved in or anything, but he's here 4 to 5 nights a week, sometimes more. He showers here, sleeps here, and eats all the time. He'll make himself full-on meals with our shared groceries and not even ask. And before anyone says anything, yes, I've talked to her about it. I brought it up kinda casually at first, like, hey, do you think, boyfriend, could pitch in for groceries since he's here a lot? But Chloe just laughed it off and said he doesn't even eat that much. For the record, my boyfriend comes over too sometimes. But he only eats food that I specifically bought, like snacks I keep in my room or label, and he always asks first. One time he accidentally ate Chloe's leftover takeout from the fridge because he thought it was mine, and she absolutely flipped. Like full-on mad for a whole day. I apologized, and he offered to replace it, but she was still super salty towards him. Meanwhile, her boyfriend's making grilled cheese, eggs, ramen, helping himself to whatever's in the fridge like it's a free-for-all. I let it go for a bit, but last week I went to make lunch and realized he'd finished the last of the eggs, bread, and lunch meat I bought. That was my last straw. I'm a college student, I can't afford this. I told her again, more directly this time, that if he's gonna be here that often and eating our food, he needs to start contributing, or just not eat stuff I paid for. Chloe got super defensive and said I'm being unfair and gatekeeping food and that I'm making things awkward when he's literally just existing. I said it's not about him being here, it's about him acting like he lives here without actually paying to live here. Now she's barely speaking to me and said I'm ruining her vibe and making her feel like she can't have her boyfriend over. I'm seriously not trying to be controlling, but I also don't want to be feeding a third person for free. Did I overreact? My BF, best friend, and mom are the only people who know about this. My BF and best friend are on my side while my mom thinks this would be a stupid thing to end a friendship over and I should let it go before it turns into something bigger. Comment 1, NTA. Like you said, he's basically living there without the financial burden. Honestly, to keep the peace, I would suggest you guys just buy your own groceries from now on. OP comment. That's the thing, we don't always split groceries. I'm a picky eater, I always have been, and I buy stuff that I know I like all the time. I'll label them and sometimes they're just gone. I'm not eating them, my boyfriend isn't, and it's probably not my roommate because she doesn't like my chips because they're fattening, so it has to be her boyfriend. I've confronted him a couple times and he always apologizes, but it's probably happened at least 5 times in the last 6 months. Not a lot, but enough to bother. Comment 2. NTA. I would let her know her boyfriend eating all your food is killing your vibe. In all seriousness, it seems like the best solution is to let her know you will be buying your own groceries from now on. You are a better person than me because if someone was spending that many nights over showering as well, they would absolutely be contributing to the water bill. Story 3, I am 31M, my wife is 34F, my cousin is 33F, her husband is 35M. My cousin and her husband own a fairly large farm and that is my cousin's pride and joy. Not one single person was surprised when she bought it. Her husband is a pipe welder and makes good money as well. My cousin and her husband are well known in the community and very well respected. They do a lot for the community. With all that said, when she was in her early 20s she won a fuck ton of money. I'm talking FU kind of money. At the moment she has made it so all of the kids, including any children I may have, in the family will be able to go to college, and she paid for her siblings' educations. She has used it for the community, but what she's done with it didn't even make a dent in it. My cousin is insanely wealthy. Her place is paid off and her husband's income along with the farm income pays for pretty much everything, so the money she won isn't really touched much other than for her charity work and if they need some sort of specialized equipment. They do have a very nice home, but if you saw them just out and about you wouldn't know it at all. They look very normal. She drives a Bronco her husband gifted her when she had her most recent baby, or the farm truck that looks like it's been to hell a few times. My wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for a year and a half. My wife is a nurse practitioner and she is in a specialty field, so she makes very good money, and I work in aviation. I make about the same as she does. We are well off compared to most people in our area, but we aren't even close to what my cousin is. She would have been making well over what we make just in her farm and her husband's job, and the other just makes it insane. My wife is very prideful. She likes to make sure everyone knows she made it. She has a very nice car and likes to bring up how much she makes in nearly every conversation. She always wants the best of the best, and I try to give her that. 99% of my family cannot stand my wife, but they are too nice to say anything, and I love her, so they just deal with it. Recently, another one of my cousins got married, and she got married at my rich cousin's house. They have a huge barn and a nice pond, so they basically cleaned out the barn for the wedding. It was beautiful. That was the first and only time my wife has been to my cousin's house. She always thought my cousin just had a little hobby farm, and for some reason she thought they were poor. I didn't know she thought they were poor. Most of our vegetables, meat, and eggs come from my cousin, but I normally get it from her myself. Anyway, now my wife is pissed that I embarrassed her, and I should have told her my cousin was rich. I didn't really think about something like that, I just assumed she knew because she's from here. It's not like it was a secret. My cousin paid for all of the upgrades to the school and matched the donations for the community to build a park. There is a huge banner on the park fence for her husband's business and her farm, along with all of the other businesses that donated to it. We pass by that park all the time. It has become an argument because I pretty much told my wife she embarrassed herself and should stop treating everyone like they are poor. There are several people in our community that make as much or more than we do. She just doesn't see that, and they don't flaunt it like she does. Comment 1. TLDR, your cousin's financial situation is not your or your wife's business. If your wife needs to know how much money someone has before she treats them decently, you are married to an R. Comment 2. NTA. You didn't hide your cousin's wealth, it's public knowledge. Your wife's pride and insecurity are the real issue here. You weren't wrong for not telling her, and her reaction seems more about her own issues with flaunting wealth. Comment 3. Your wife sounds incredibly narcissistic and insufferable. You are NTA, but she is. Story 4, I, 16M, was the product of what is pretty much a friend with benefits type relationship between my dad, at the time 33, and my mom, at the time 22. My mom didn't want to be a mom. Yet my dad didn't want my mom to abort. From what little I have been told, there was an agreement. My mom would leave, my dad would raise me on his own, but if she wanted to, she could come back into my life whenever. The first 7 years of my life were just my dad and I. He didn't date any other woman, it was just us two and his family. I remember my mom would send me gifts on my birthday and Christmas with letters attached. I remember members of her family doing the same. When I turned 7, my mom came back. I started spending time with her. She would take me to parks, zoos, and aquariums, etc. I also met her family. I loved this, although I now know my dad didn't like the fact that my mom randomly showed up out of nowhere wanting to spend time with me, although he did soften up to it over time. I still have contact with my mom. I don't see her as often as before. But I still love her and see her as much as possible. There was no conflict due to this situation at all until when I was 14, my dad met a new woman. I will call Alina for this. Alina and my dad started dating when I was 14, married when I was 15. Alina brought her twins, 15M for both, from her previous relationship into her marriage with my dad. I have a good relationship with both my stepbrothers. I have a decent relationship with Alina, but 2 things always bugged me. 1. How my dad seemed to rush into marrying Alina. He proposed to her 3 months into their relationship. 2. Alina wanted me to call her mom literally the day I met her. She had 2 reasons for this. 1. I don't have a mom, and I need one. 2. She wants our family to be more united. I always just shrugged this off. I got away with it because when my dad married Alina, it's like he forgot about me completely and didn't care about me. I also felt like it wasn't my place to complain. That's the context of all of this. We're a year into Dad and Alina's marriage. Alina's birthday is coming up. All of us bought her a gift, but she says she doesn't like physical ones and also said she wants a more verbal gift from me. Last night at dinner I learned what this was. She asked me if I say yes to letting her adopt me so she could be my mom. Of course it caught me off guard. I said no, I already have a mom. Alina doesn't like the fact I talk to my actual mom still, and she said that she's my mom because she's at home with me every day and is married to my dad. Then called my actual mom a part-timer in my life. I told her no, I'm sorry I can't her son, but even if my actual mom is a part-timer, she was there for me a long time before she was. I received an angry scolding for this from both my dad and Alina. Alina specifically has been cold towards me since then. I'm struggling to comprehend this, and need to ask anonymously if I was in the wrong here. Comment 1. Sounds like Alina believes her emotional and practical investment in your life, providing mother-like support etc. warrants her the title to go with the job, which is perfectly reasonable. And while you sound appreciative, you don't see her as your mum, which is also perfectly reasonable. Hopefully over time and with more communication y'all can settle this in a way that leads to happiness for everyone. Comment 2. NTA, Alina is very pushy and it's quite weird. Your dad is an asshole for not standing up to his wife and defending you.